Wednesday, and we had this little bit of snow here today. It might have amounted to about an inch. It was snowing off and on most of the morning, kind of a light snow, but it's hanging right there and kind of right about a little above freezing actually. So I think it was kind of melting as fast as it was coming down. The road stayed pretty clear, and the driveways even, yeah, it's not clear, but it's not got much on it, or it's not anywhere near enough to even try to scrape. But just one of them days. It's kind of raw and cold and chilly and damp, and but yeah, we're kind of right in the middle of everything here in the middle of winter. There's not much happening in the fields for sure, or not really anything other than we're hauling some manure every now and then. But this afternoon I need to bed my free stalls again. We do that on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. They brought 2 totes of our calf feed here today. We get our calf starter in totes. They hold about 1,000 pounds. We get what they call a coarse texture. It's kind of a pellet and rolled shelled corn and together. So yeah, I gotta get them put away. It is supposed to be colder again next week. Not bitter cold. 2 days is supposed to be pretty cold. We got to get some pens cleaned out here probably next week, or we'd like to, while we're in the middle of winter, before kind of get into spring. It starts getting more muddy and sloppy, and we start getting busy with other things. And yeah, we need to get a couple pens here cleaned out. Yeah, our calves seem to be doing well here in the middle of winter, and we're very thankful for that. Yeah, we're still obviously putting calf coats on them because of it being cold, but yeah, they're try to take care of our calves the best we can. But we have a group that is weaned that needs moved out. Actually, there's 2 groups here we probably could almost move out, but the one, yeah, this group here, they're weaned, and hopefully tomorrow they're saying it's supposed to get a little warmer, so we'll probably try to get them moved out tomorrow. We had a lot of cows fresh in the last couple of weeks. We had a pile of calves born. I'm not sure. Well, like, here's 3 groups, and the one youngest group has 5 in right now. Till we start another group. We usually keep them in groups of 4, and I think all, let me see, that'd be 13 calves. All 13 of them would have been born since probably within the last 10 days, since my wife and I were away that one week out in Indiana. And yeah, we had 1 or 2 more born since that. I think there's, yeah, just 1 here that was just born the other day. We had 6 over the weekend, and 5 of them were heifer calves, or 5 of them were bull calves, I'm sorry, and 1 heifer calf. That's very unusual, but yeah, we had a pile of heifer calves born. So yeah, we still have, I mean, there's probably 15 or 16 in here at spring, and not a lot that's really close. Right here's a red and white heifer that's gonna have before too long. She's not back more than a couple days probably. There's another line back. She's coming in with her 2nd calf. But seems like I show a fair amount of clips of my Springer pen, but that's a large part of responsibility for yeah, we check the Springer pen probably 5 to 6 times a day, and then again in the course of a 24-hour period, probably 5 or 6 times. Yeah, as I'm walking here looking, there's at least 4 or 5 in here that could calve about any time. So, but it's not quite like it was a couple weeks ago when we had about 30 in here, and there was 12 or 15 of them that could have calved at any time. They're in the middle of bringing the cows down to milk right now. They're coming down into the holding area right over here. Here's about what our free stalls look like when we go to bed them. I said about we bed them 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So this would be 2 days. Friday there would be, yeah, we put enough in the last 3 days through the weekend. But yeah, the sawdust they brought us this last time, yeah, right here we clean all the wet and dirty spots off, and sometimes it's more than others. Sometimes there's only a couple pals in the whole barn, and The next time it seems like there's more than there should be, but I'm not sure why. The sawdust they brought us the last time got a lot more coarser stuff in it. And I mean, it's fairly fine, but you see a good bit of like that. Yeah, it's got a good bit of chunky stuff in it too. So I need to talk to the guy I get it from before we get the next load. It just don't keep the stalls quite as dry when it's more like this. Hopefully he'll be able to get us the kind that I like a lot better. Here's these dump watering troughs. I probably showed before of dumping them, but yeah, we try to dump these on in good weather. We try to dump them every day. In the winter they probably get dumped at least 2 or 3 times a week, but unless it's really, really cold out, then we try not to dump any more water than we have to up here. But yeah, we'll the nice thing about when we dump it, it pretty much cleans the whole crossover off too, so that makes it really nice. I said about this sawdust being a little different. You can really see it here in the POW, and it almost seems like, and I need to ask him, like there'd be some old masonite board ground up mixed in with it. So I don't know if some sawmill had some old stuff or if it's somebody that's recycling some stuff, but anyhow, it's definitely not what I would prefer. I mean, here you can see some real fine powdery stuff. That's what I like to see it all, like a real fine, almost dust. Yeah, it just stays in the stalls better and keeps the cows a lot cleaner. And here at the ends of our freestall barn, right here where the corner wheel is, when the scraper comes back, there's a little bit here at the ends of the alleys that it don't get. I try to keep it cleaned up a couple times a week. For sure, always clean it up on the days that I bed the free stalls. Just take a shovel and push it down a little bit. And times on the mornings that I milk, whenever I come up through and scrape the beds clean, the free stall beds clean, I clean it up too. About cleaning up here at the end of the freestall barn. If we don't keep it cleaned up, it gets a lot sloppier here at the end, and clear last stall up against the wall, they'll drag a lot more dirt, manure into the stall, and the stalls will be a lot dirtier. The way the wing folds out, then it even lets a little bit of extra thickness right in here, kind of down into where the second stall would be, but it's mostly here where the first stalls would be. Saying a little bit about today being a dreary day. Yeah, if you just look out across there, it's one of them days. It's just overcast and cloudy, and a little bit of a cool breeze blowing. The temperature's probably there about 34, 33, 34 degrees, just right above freezing. And yeah, just raw. One of the days it feels good to not do any more than you have to do and stay in where it's warm. So we didn't have a lot on the go today, which I'm thankful for. I milked this morning, and then I had to do some bedding here this afternoon. My Springer pen needed bedded, a couple other things, and now the free stalls. I did the free stall barn here for the milk cows. Now I got to go do down here at the dry cows and bred heifers. Oh dear. Yeah, well, like I always say, you never know what you're going to get into in a day's work. About 2 weeks or so ago, we seen a little bit of water above the ground right here, and yeah, I thought, well, there's a water leak somewhere, but hopefully it'll be okay till spring. Well, a couple of days ago, we seen it was getting worse, and yesterday it was really bad. So yesterday afternoon there, so I dug it up There's a spot here where we had a hydrant years ago and it went bad, so we took it off and capped it. Didn't really need the hydrant here anymore, but they always said that you're better off using brass connector pieces on whenever you do your fittings over plastic, that they'll last a lot longer. Well, they might last a lot longer, but they don't last forever. A couple years ago we had one over here that corroded through, and I'm not sure if I'll be able to zoom it in there or not. Yeah, you can see right beside there where that cap is, and then right above that it corroded through or whatever. That was a brass connector fitting, so there, that connected to the T where the hydrant was. So anyway, we didn't use a lot of them, thankfully. We used mostly plastic unless it was where we were going to put a hydrant. We always used the brass there because they were more rigid and wouldn't crack as quick. But yeah, anyhow, this would have been put in when we did the freestall barn 24 years ago. But I hope there ain't too many more of them like this, because if there is, we're going to be having some water leaks here and there and everywhere after a while. Yeah, right there you can see the hole right there where the fitting is, right at the end of the pipe. Yeah, it just basically corroded a hole right through it. We had one of these years ago, probably 4 or 5 years, 3, 4 years ago it did this. And I'll probably take this pipe off of here just to see, but it had corroded back in like the whole way back along there. And these brass fittings, I don't know. I said if they're going to start corroding through in 20 or 25 years, we're going to have a royal mess someday. But all the connector fittings that we've ever used, like if we're running a water line a long distance, or even elbows, we usually just use the gray plastic ones that are made for this. But yeah, when there was like I said, there would have been a hydrant off of this years ago, and it went bad, and we had put another hydrant in about 10, 12 feet away, so we really didn't even need a hydrant there anymore. So yeah, so we just cut this whole section out of it and put a new piece of pipe in. But yeah, well, I know what I was going to say. We quit using these brass fittings anywhere. They make some gray, like a zinc-coated fitting. I don't know if they're any better or not, but hopefully they are. And we use them in an area where we want something that's a little more rigid. You know, it's Sunday morning here, and we have quite the sloppy mess here this morning. It started snowing yesterday morning, about mid-morning, probably got 2 inches of snow, and then it warmed up and started kind of sleet and freezing rain on top of it. We've been kind of having a combination of this kind of stuff off and on for about the past 3 weeks. But yeah, it's kind of hung there about 32, 33 degrees about all day. Didn't get a lot of accumulation of ice. There's a little bit of ice on the trees, but yeah, I'm up here feeding our heifers up here at our heifer farm, or where we keep heifers up here at another farm, and got things cleaned up the best I could. And they're talking about warming up to almost 50 today and raining some more, so hopefully it'll melt all this stuff, because then it's supposed to blow up and get really cold overnight and be 40, 50 mile an hour gusts here tonight and tomorrow, and really cold. So yeah, if it don't melt this stuff, it's going to be a real mess. With the sleet and the rain it got on it, it probably pushed it down, packed it down to, I don't know, barely an inch on the ground now. But got these heifers all taken care of. We'll see how much rain it gets. We cleaned up the barnyard up here yesterday, so hopefully it'll rain and clean up some more, melt all this stuff off. Monday afternoon here. It's about a little after 5 o'clock in the afternoon. The sun's just about to set, but it's a really cold, windy day today. I mean, it got up somewhere around 30 degrees. But yeah, we just finishing making sure a couple things are closed up here at the freestall barn. It's supposed to get pretty cold tonight. I think the real field's supposed to be below 0. Yeah, the cows are all here eating their supper. Always looks neat in here at this time of day. The sun's kind of about ready to set and kind of shines in over there on that one side. And yeah, the whole line of cows here eating, and quite a few over there in the stalls laying down as well. I bedded the free stalls this afternoon, and I turned our alley scrapers off when I was bedding them. Yeah, just the way they were. It worked better to shut them off. We don't always shut them off, but sometimes we do. Anyhow, I forgot to turn them back on, and my son was bringing the cows up. They just got done milking. He was shutting the gate and the door there at the end, and he messaged me and said the alley scrapers weren't running. So I'm glad we caught that here this evening, as with it being cold, the corner wheels would have probably froze tight, and that and the alleys would have been a mess in the morning. So ready to wrap it up for the evening and head in for some supper. And yeah, we don't have any plans this evening, so kick back and take it easy. Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, not every day goes as planned, as we all know, for those of us that are on a farm. But this is what's left of the front window door of our skid loader. Oh dear. Yeah, I was saying about breaking that window out of my skid loader. We had just got this dumpster here about 2 weeks ago to start putting some of our plastic in, our bale wrap plastic and the plastic that's on top of our trenches. And we've always taken them out and put them on a pile and burn them, and decided to try this a little bit. But yeah, I had a row of bale wrap bales that I finished using up a couple last ones. So I cleaned up the plastic and brought it in here and dumped it in. I was trying to take my prongs and shove it on down in a little bit. Well, when I did that, it kind of pushed rocked the whole dumpster forward a little bit. When I went to back up, I didn't think it was that close, but it was close enough that this pipe here just barely bumped the latch on my door and shattered the whole window. So anyhow, I guess you live and learn, but we'll try not to do that again for sure. Yeah, here's a picture of the skid loader with no door. It has the hinge part right here, bolts. There's holes that go through the window, and it bolts right on the door. But yeah, you gotta there's a safety switch right in here that won't let you move the bucket up and down if your door's open. That way you can't ever shatter the door like that. And so yeah, I got the hinge zip tied back. Glass was all inside, all over the skid loader in here on the floor, and some of it kind of came back on me, some too, but we got the shop back out and cleaned that all up the best we could. So anyhow, we have a new one ordered. It should be here. They have it in stock, but the company we got it from has several different stores here in Pennsylvania, or business locations. And the one that is about an hour and a half away. So they should have it here available for us by Friday. So it's only 2 days away. So I'm not talking about any rain. There's a chance of some snow flurries tomorrow, but it ain't supposed to amount to too much, they're saying. So anyhow, that's part of life. You live and you learn, and hopefully don't do the same thing twice. Yeah, well, not every day goes as you'd like it to, or that you planned. Yeah, I was planning to start this morning and clean the smaller side of the Springer pen out, and have my son was going to take over and try to get the whole pen cleaned out today. But with all the messing around we did with the colder weather, we had some issues with the batteries on this tractor, but we finally got everything going and got rolling here. We're loaded our second load. We're getting ready to haul out. We're gonna at least try to get this bigger side done, and we'll see once if we have enough time, we'll do the little side. If not, we'll do it tomorrow or Friday. So we have another heifer pen we would like to get cleaned out this week yet too. I think my older son is maybe gonna clean it out tomorrow, but Anyway, there's probably close to at least 10, 12 loads in here in this bigger side. It's a little deeper in here than I thought. I don't like it to get real deep. It takes a long time, a lot longer to clean it out. So, yep, we'll do what we can and move on from there, but hopefully everything will keep running now. Yeah, we were having some issues on cold mornings with the batteries on this tractor, and I messed around with it and tried to get it going. Finally, it's like, you know what, I'm just gonna take the batteries off and go get new ones. So in the meantime, I hooked the generator up to where it was sitting at. We didn't have any electric that I could plug the block heater in. And yeah, so I took the generator and plugged the block heater in. Well, I took the batteries up to get new batteries, and they're like, oh, we're out of that size. And I'm like, oh, come on. So anyway, we brought them back home and put them back on and hooked the jumper cables and the jump start up and everything with the block heater plugged in. Yeah, we got it rolling. We got this pen all cleaned out here. It didn't take us quite as long as what we thought. We put a combination of soybean straw and corn fodder in here. I think we used 7 round bales total, but they're all bedded up and ready for the next round. Yeah, over there on the other side there, in that smaller side, we didn't get that corner cleaned out. We got to do that here, hopefully one of these next days. But got some other things happening today, and it's supposed to be really blustery and cold. We had 2 calves born here in the last day or two. There's a bull calf over here that's going to go to auction today. And then we had 1 heifer calf over here born. She's doing really well. She was born yesterday morning when it was really cold, and I was like, oh boy. But yeah, Mom got up and licked her off good, and she's doing well. It's feeding time on a Thursday morning. It's cold out this morning. We had 8 degrees Fahrenheit, and yeah, the wind died down here this morning, but it's supposed to get really blustery. There's supposed to be some snow squalls go through and get really blustery here later in the day. They're saying 30-mile-an-hour gusts maybe. It sure has been a windy week. Yesterday calmed down a little bit, but today and tomorrow is supposed to both be really windy, and then it's supposed to warm up for the weekend, so thankful for that. But yeah, the cows are getting ready to enjoy their breakfast. This week has been really cold, and I think I mentioned this before. We have 3 crossovers in our freestall barn. 2 of them have these dump watering troughs, and this week it got so cold. This one's here at the end where we opened the door to pen up the cows. Yeah, the line must have froze. It comes up to it, and yeah, but we normally just let it go. It'll thaw out here. It's supposed to start getting warmer tomorrow. I think it's supposed to get up to 40 tomorrow degrees Fahrenheit. The 2 crossovers on down in the barn. The one has a dump watering trough. I think I did say all 3 would have had a dump watering trough when we first built the barn. The center one, we took the first 2 stalls right beside the crossover and got a trough made that fits in there. It holds about 800 or 1,000 gallon of water, probably around 800, give or take a little.
It's a cold morning this morning, but I'm feeding calves, and this calf decided she didn't want her coat on anymore, I guess. She took it off. So anyhow, we need to put that back on because it's still pretty chilly. They're drinking their milk.
Yeah, well, today is Friday afternoon, and we are getting ready to vaccinate a bunch of our heifers. We're going to vaccinate all of our heifers that are close to a year old and up. Actually, probably more 10-month-old, clear up the rationing. We've been having, there in the fall, we had 2 or 3 heifers that slipped their calves or aborted, had them maybe 3-4 months early. Most of them are probably bred in that 5-6 month range. And then here in the past month, we had a couple more. And so we're going to go through and vaccinate everybody for lepto. There's a vaccine here. It's, yeah, called Spiral Vac L5. It covers a bunch of different things that would cause abortions. Lepto is probably one of the leading causes of abortions, and it's always something. You can have one here and there, maybe one calf a little early, one abort, but these are all about the same stage of gestation. And yeah, it's just kind of random how it's happening. And so that's what the vets are recommending, to go through and vaccinate everybody with this. And we'll see how we're going to work at that here this afternoon, or do that here this afternoon. The closer bred heifers, like the ones that are with the dry cows that are bred maybe 5-6 months on, I'll probably do them tomorrow morning when we lock them up, when we feed them. But all the other ones we're going to do here this afternoon. It's still cold out. It's getting a little warmer today, or the sun has a little more strength to it. The wind's still blowing and it is cold out here. But it's when it suits us, and we're wanting to move some other heifers around next week, so we want to get it done before that.
What you guys doing? Huh? There's our 3 horses and all the goats. They didn't get fed hay tonight yet, so they're kind of begging. Oh, the Billy's back there. That's where he's at. I was trying to figure out where he was. He's got himself a good-looking beard. They're all looking at the gate, but there's nobody out there. They're like, that's where the hay's at.